Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to our show. Now we have been making something local and lekker, a proudly South African dish, I'd like to say, because not only do we have Umama Katumi in the kitchen, but we also have the master of the trotters, as Dumi would like to call him, someone who essentially specializes in South African cuisine.
Yeah.
If you want to get cooking along and making the South African dish with us, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za, where we have detailed quite in specific details, essentially, the ingredients list and recipe. Now, Dumi, I can see that you've already added your trotters into the pot.
Yeah.
You've already got the spinach chopping away there and cooking up.
Yeah.
So can you just talk us through all the elements that are going to go into part 2?
All right, perfect. So now we've started with the trotters. We put all the spices in there. Like you said, to South Africa, you can get this on afternoonexpress.co.za. We've detailed it. And as per Pitso, we've made sure to only add water into this because we want... What happens with beef trotters and this type of meat is that it's going to get all gelatinous and so forth. So it's going to be nice.
What's gelatinous?
Have you ever seen... It's like we call it like the collagen part, where it looks like jelly, you know?
Oh, mountain.
So
I think you want to say gluey.
well, okay.
Gluey, because when you eat the trotters, your fingers can't
they stick
separate.
together.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it's going to cook, and it's going to cook down, and it's going to get like that. So that's why we're going to let it cook on its own. We're not going to keep opening the pot. You know, I've told you that trick about stew. Don't open the pot. Let it cook in its own juices.
Yeah.
Let it steam. So we're ignoring that for a while, and we're just carrying on with the spinach here. Pitso's chopped up my spinach for me. I'm going to put it in here. But we also have potatoes. So I'm just adding the potatoes here. And I think I remember one of our guest chefs once said this to us, that when we're cooking certain foods, you must cook it according to how long it takes. So we started off here. I put some onion and some carrots, and I've put in the potatoes, and we want that to cook as fast as possible. So we're going to put some water, but that's going to go in first before we go in with the rest of the spinach and all the other ingredients.
Delicious. Yeah. My chatin is pretty much almost done, Ma. Thank you so much for all of your assistance. What I've just gone in here and done is chopped up the tomatoes quite nicely. I like a chunky chatin, so the tomatoes are chunky, but the onions have been finely chopped by Umama. They look great, smelling even better. And of course, you know it's not a chatin if you don't add chili. So I've added my chopped chili in here, and then I'm just going to top it off with some vinegar. Nema,
Yeah.
tell me when to stop. Ooh.
That's fine.
Is this fine?
Yes. Then add some sugar.
So now, essentially, the sugar is just to balance the tanginess.
Yes, and to kill the potency of the vinegar.
Oh, wow. I love that. Tell me when to stop as well, Lanama.
You can just stop and
mix it in.
Mix it and taste it. It will tell you if it needs more sugar.
I like that. Okay, so you keep going. You taste,
just keep going.
You add, you taste,
Yeah.
you add. I love that. And this is essentially one of the quickest go-to salads I think that you can use in any African household. And I'm sure South Africans all over are just loving what we're doing here in the kitchen. How's it going that side?
It's going quite well. I mean, Pitso, you're the one that can explain to us. This is something that's definitely eaten with papa leskopo. It's standard.
Definitely, there's no chatin, and I've been in Durban myself, and I know this is the actual thing that you eat with everything. So after I took it to my restaurant as well, you have chatin, which is called salsa in English, but chatin is the name that I prefer personally.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
All right, so you've got some cheese that's grated for us here. So I'm going to go in with the rest of our ingredients here. So we're going to cook down our spinach. And like we mentioned, we've got cream of mushroom soup as well. Like, it's a standard that everyone has, most people have when they make their soup. So before I do that, I'm going to put my heat a little higher and then add a bit of water because we wanted it to fry a little bit, but we also want to create a base for when we put the cream of mushroom so that it creates that soupy texture. So I'm going to first let the spinach cook down first. I think one of the things I love about the meal that we're making here is how financially accessible it is. Everyone always has onions in their house, always have green peppers, always have red peppers. I mean, spinach is a standard, and it's so economical. So this meal can feed a multitude of people on a budget, you know?
And also, even the cuts of meat that we're using are budget friendly. I mean, Pitso, you were speaking about the fact that as much as it is a little bit more difficult to get, you need to be going into the market, you need to be going into the taxi ranks to get your hands on this meat. But essentially, it's just so delicious, it's so economical. And for yourself, Pitso, when you you see something like this coming together, doesn't it just speak of the ubuntu and the unity that we have as a people?
Most definitely. That's the reason, like, I mean, I came to this business. I mean, this is to see people enjoying food and the food that we grew up eating, you know. So this is very, very beautiful for me to see, honestly. And, like, by the way, you forgot to tell them that's my mother's recipe.
Okay, because I'm showing off my mom, you also want to show off your mom. Okay, yes, South Africa.
In a absence, yes.
He is correct. This is Pitso's mom's recipe. So I couldn't be here shining the light with my own mother. He wanted to make sure that, you know, his mom gets the spotlight as well.
Definitely.
So this is your mom's recipe. The only thing that we've added a bit of a touch of is our cheese, but it's a standard recipe.
Definitely, yeah. She also uses cheese.
And on that cheesy note, I mean, to me, that meat seems to be coming along quite well.
Yes, darling. And I think what we can do is I'm going to put it in here because we have one that we made a little earlier.
Stunning. Yeah, it takes quite a strong girl. Heavy lifting in the kitchen. I love it, Angel. Okay, let's take out the freshly cooked one. I mean, Chef Pitso has done the things here, teaching us how to make trotters the authentic South African way, but adding his own flair and his own twist to it. Show us that magic, girl.
I think it should be the big reveal. I think South Africa can see how amazing this is here. I mean, it's cooked nice and tender. I mean, this is what I was talking about that jelly where the meat just actually dances on its own here.
Meat dancing,
It's falling off the bone. It's tender. It's delicious. It's flavorful. And the thing is, you don't need to put any additional gravy in it because the meat, the juices on itself become the gravy for this dish.
Very lovely.
And the last but not least is I have to add my cheese to our spinach because it's already cooked down as well. So I'm just
Now, you keep doing that. I mean, Mom, I want to touch base here with you. It seems like your coleslaw is almost good to go.
Oh, yes, I'm done already. The nice thing about coleslaw is that you can use plain yogurt. You can use mayonnaise.
Wow.
You can use Worcester sauce. You can use chutney.
Whatever you feel like, whatever floats your boat. Oh, so, Mom, whilst you're dishing it up there in your gorgeous bowl, you were saying to me that you've got some special notes about chutney.
Yes. Allegedly, apparently, if you add more chili, green chili to that, it will kill that babalas.
Do you think that that's why everyone in Durban loves it so much? All of our chisanyamas.
Oh, yes. Open a fridge in our place and you'll find shatin because they use it for babalas.
I like that.
It will kill it. I promise
Tricks
you.
of the trade, Mama. I love that. So whilst we're putting that together, our sides are perfect. They're ready to go. They're delicious, delectable, and oh so fresh. On your side, Dumi, it looks like that meat is also just ready to be enjoyed.
It is tender and divine. I'm just dishing it up so that we can flaunt the fruits of our labor to South Africa so they can see exactly what we're enjoying over here.
Now, Pitso looks so excited to dive into all of that. I mean, when you see this meat and when you see all of this coming together, what's the main thing you want South Africans to kind of walk away knowing about this dish?
I mean, look, this is actually screaming South Africa. I mean, there's no other way of saying South Africa than this. Yeah. I mean, just look at the gravy there, the sauce, and the color of the trotters, man. I mean, those are the things that we want when we eat, you know?
Absolutely.
We eat with our eyes.
We do eat with our eyes. And as we're just putting together all the finishing touches, that spinach, I mean, I'm a fan of spinach. I love myself some spinach. And also, it's just perfect for someone who is anemic, like my mom is anemic. And the added iron to this makes it that much better. But if you try to disguise your veggies for the kids to be able to enjoy it, add a whole lot of that clover cheese. They won't know the difference. I love it. Ma?
That's the coleslaw. Doesn't it look nice?
Delicious. This looks absolutely
Delicious.
amazing. So, Dumi, please just talk us through our menu from the top of the show up until this point.
Okay, so we've got two types of meat. We've got cow head, skop, and we've got amanqina, which is our cow heels. We've got pap, savory pap that Mama made first in the first segment. Delicious, beautiful, colorful. And now we've got our creamy, cheesy spinach with clover cheese. We've got our manqinas over here. We've got our coleslaw, and we've got ushatini. That, for me, is just a feast to be enjoyed.
Now, that's one way to prepare veg and eat it. Please do head over to the Afternoon Express website to get this full ingredients list and recipe to be cooking along with us. But just in case you've missed any of the steps, here's a quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.